Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin this evening's performance of The Devil's Disciple here in Darlington, I have an important and serious announcement. As some of you may perhaps already be aware, early this morning, the 2nd of November 1950, Mr. George Bernard Shaw passed away at his home in Ayot St. Lawrence. He was a great man, the greatest of playwrights, and a dear friend. I dedicate this evening's performance and the remainder of the tour to his memory. I shall treasure all the letters that I received from him, and I shall endeavour to promote and to celebrate his wonderful plays for the rest of my life. It all began when I played Sweetie in Too True to Be Good, the British premiere at the Malvern Festival. From then on, I was one of his favourite actresses. I played, I think, more Shaw roles than any other actress. I also had quite a few of the famous postcards from him. They were the funniest. But there are also quite a few letters which helped me in directing his plays as well as in acting in them.
22nd August, 1932. My dear Mrs. Hancock, in Act 2, when Mops says, "I'll give you a hiding that'll keep you screaming for half an hour," play it by crouching down on the cushion and covering up your head with your arms. GBS. P.S. I expect you're having your usual triumph this evening.
We opened on the 6th of August. As a start, before rehearsals began, Mr. Shaw read the play himself to the whole company. Then he retired to the back of the circle with his tiny torch pencil. We could see it there like a little firefly. He wrote copious notes, whilst we actors waited in trepidation for his pronouncements. These he would deliver from the stage. Then, if you didn't get it from the note, he would act it for you. So you would often pretend not to get it from the note because one longed to see him act. He was so wondrously good. His voice had a fantastic range, 5 octaves. He played old men and women, young men and girls, all the parts so beautifully. Malvern, 1932. Mr. Shaw, 76 years old. I, a mere 30, and the leading lady in his new play. And so our correspondence began, and went on for 18 years, right up until the end, even to that last July.
"25th December, Xmas, 1947. Another gift. I have half a dozen pullovers and I never wear them. Yours is the richest colour in the collection. If you cannot restrain this mania for making presents, exchanging money, which everyone wants, for things that nobody wants, you should do it at unexpected moments and not at Xmas, when all the other people do it, smothering your gifts under a pile of cards and rubbish. I must cure you of this lunacy. Let me think of you as a fellow artist, and not a mental case. Drop it, Ellen.
Mr. Shaw, will you let me come and see you again? Not for anything, just to see you. I would love to.
1948, 22nd of May. For the present, this poor old crock, overworked to the limit, desires only to be left alone. Why do you want to see me in my decrepitude? Think of me as I was when I was young and beautiful. I enclose a photograph to remind you. In my Jaeger outfit. GBS.
Dear Mr. Shaw, did you like the paperweight? Which is really a door-stopper. I do so want to see you again. May I come to it?
1949, 19th January. I have not a moment to spare to talk just now. I had rather be remembered as I was in Malvern in 1932 than the old ghost I am now.
Please, may I visit you?
Don't! I am barring all visits until after Easter, because I am never free until 4, after which the lanes are dark and dangerous, and in fog impossible. 1950, 10th January.
Dear Mr. Shaw, I could bring my bicycle to Welwyn as a form of transport.
July. Ellen Pollock, I send you this printed postcard because I think you don't realise how old I am. 7 p.m. is an impossible hour for me to receive visits. I am only available between 4 and 6 in summer, and in winter practically not at all. GBS.
I have good news, Mr. Shaw. I am, after all, to do the Devil's Disciple. I have secured a tour of the northeast of England in the autumn, sponsored by the Arts Council. We are to visit Stockton, Darlington, Grimsby, and other places. I would so appreciate your advice on the production. If perhaps I could pay you a visit.
19th July. My only housemaid has deserted me to get married, and my housekeeper, now mistress of the house and maid of all work, has made me promise to have no visitors until after she gets some help. So put off your visit for the moment. Just arrived. A monstrous inkstand on a very ugly hoof, with the undesirable faculty of upsetting at the slightest touch. They are having a sale to heat the ice-cold church. I have given them the damn thing. This will teach you to take better care of your money.
Dear Mr. Shaw, our tour is to be small venues, quite informal, church halls and so on.
31st July. When the D was planned, it was for a stage deep enough to have a front cloth without furniture, which, on being flown, revealed a middle cloth with the court-martial all set. A momentary blackout to remove the table and fly the cloth left the whole depth of the stage set for the final scene. My conclusion is that the play is impossible except in proper theatres, and that you had better drop it. My birthday, the 94th, was a horror and is still raging. The lavender you sent me hadn't the slightest odour. It's in the dustbin. GBS.
That was sadly to be the final letter I would ever receive from you, Mr. Shaw. Your very last word. But I went on, as I said I would, to remember you and to celebrate you all through my life.
And so you did. Well, well, Ellen Pollock, I cannot let you have the last word. On and on you went, for nearly half a century, a Methuselah much like myself, and a national treasure, as they call it. You became an expert director and producer, and you played in everything you could get your hands on, practically all of my plays. And you were president of that pesky Shaw Society for 40 years, although latterly I've become somewhat fonder of it.
Such a privilege. At the back of my mind, I suppose I wanted the society to grow so powerful that we could have our own theatre to present your plays.
Performing my plays in all the parts you loved best, here in my very own back garden at Shaw's Corner. Year after year, on my birthday, on the lawn above the rosebed, nourished by my ashes and my life force.
I have always loved the garden so much. It's just heaven. And after all these years, at last I can be with you again.
Well, after all, Ellen Pollock, you can try to live just a little bit longer than I.
You see, the thing I don't believe in is age.
Even so, you passed. Neither of us could live forever.
We gave it our very best shot, just like back to Methuselah.
2 Methuselahs. But we had our differences. In our lifetimes, you and I. All those presents you insisted on sending to me, and forever asking for this part or that part, and always wanting to come and visit me in my home. You could make yourself quite the nuisance, Ellen Pollock, now and then. And yet, you did become the Shaw specialist that I hoped you would. Now, where is it? Yes. The Independent, 12th of April, 1997. Obituary. No actress ever flew the flag with more panache for Bernard Shaw than Ellen Pollock. Her dedication to the great Irishman was unrivaled. Dear Ellen Pollock, bless you. Ever, GBS.
Bernard Shaw, Mr. Shaw, as I always called him, was a very, very human person indeed. He had a knack for saying things that somehow made life seem better just for having heard them. When you were with him, you had so much that you wanted to say, and yet daren't, for fear of missing something he said. But the essential thing about Shaw, which few people who didn't know him realised, was his gaiety. The lightness in Shaw. Affectionately, Ellen.